Welcome to a new video, and look what I have here. KZ, or I think the more pronounced American way, KZ, sent me this here, which is, a new headphone. And here you can see it, the AS16 Pro, and I want to do the unboxing of this one here and review. So let's get started. So as you saw, it's a pretty boring box, actually, nothing much written on here, just the KZ logo as well as one sticker with all the specifications. So there's a cyan and black version, I have the black version here. There's a mic and no mic version, I have the no mic version. And you can see some more specifications here, just like, for example, a 3.5mm headphone plug, a pin type because it has a removable cable of 0.75, and then the frequency range from 20 Hz to 40 kHz. Impedance is 30 ohm, as well as the sensitivity is 111 plus 3 dB per milliwatt. So yeah, this is basically everything. Let's open the box up here, and there we can see the presentation. Pretty nice, as you can see here, KZ AS16 Pro, and the name is also the reason because we have here 8 drivers on the left and 8 drivers on the right, and 8 plus 8 are 16. This is why it's called AS16, and those are BA, balanced armature drivers, instead of the normal dynamic drivers, which are pretty interesting as well, because they don't move so much air around. They take a little bit more space. This is why it's a little bit bigger. But they are also very, very precise, because if you can imagine 8 drivers per ear, so you get, for each frequency range, the right driver, or 2 drivers taking care of mids, 2 drivers taking care of lows, and 2 drivers taking care of highs, and then other 2 drivers doing something else. I really don't know what they're all doing, but this is how it usually works. So let's open this up here. There's even more inside. So we have this like little metallic kind of insert here, as well as the headphones itself. You can see the nice design where they have like an open glass back and some what looks like it could be LEDs or some crystals or something in there. And of course they have their default, I think, mid tips here. And of course in the packaging itself we have the cable itself. Let's open this up quickly. I think it's a typical KZ cable. I never had a KZ before, but this is the cable that I heard they sent to their devices. As you can see here, it has this 2-pin connector as well as the 3.5mm headphone jack as well, and it's pretty long, I think, and feels nice on first glance. It's a bit of rubbery here. We will see how good this cable will be. And then of course we have some tips here as well. Those are the typical tips in different sizes that we can see here already. So you can see they have this kind of form here. I'm not even sure how they're called, but they should fit nicely, and they should seal nicely, as well as let a little bit air through, so that you don't get those bumps when running around with those here each time you take a step. And there's a little booklet as well inside here, so with some instructions, product warranty, and how to put it in your ear, and how to hook the cable over your ear is written here as well, nicely done. So no wasted paper here, and no wasted other things here. Sadly no anime girl on the front, but this is more for serious business. So I think I will just plug those in here, and let's start with some music listening, and then I tell you how good they sound. So let's talk about the ergonomics and the build quality of those. It is plastic. It's very, very lightweight plastic, and it is definitely, for 50 euros nowadays, a little bit cheap. You can see the design is very, very cool for sure, and the fit is also nicely in my ear with this hook. By the way, it has like this hook made out of rubber around the actual wire, and this helps me to get it into shape, and it's fitting nicely. But you can see already one big problem: it is very large and it's sticking out of the ear, so the nozzle is very long to get into the ear. And first I was using it with the medium sized that were on here, but then later I've switched for better sealing to the larger ones, because the medium sized I really have to push into the ear, so they're a bit flatter towards my ear. But it was not very pleasant. After a while I had some issues, especially on the left ear, where it starts hurting. So I switched to the bigger ones, so I don't have to push them so far into my ear canal, and then they fit nicely. The only issue is really that they are sticking really out of the ear. They are a little bit large, and yeah, you cannot even like lie down on a pillow or something like this on the side here, because it's like too big simply and will push into your ear. It feels uncomfortable. So those are not headphones that you can use for sleeping or just lying like this. It's just simply too big, at least for my ears. Just simply too big, as you can see here. Otherwise, the build quality is good. Its plastic is lightweight. I like that they are very lightweight, but it feels a bit cheap when I compare it like with, for example, the Moonrub shoe that I have here, which is like a metal housing. So this is real metal, and you can, yeah, it feels definitely more premium here, and it's a bit heavier as well than those that are plastic, and it feels plasticky, very lightweight. The cable here is good that it's removable, so I can just simply remove a 2-pin adapter, as you can see here. And it also has on one, I think it has printed the, not on this one, on the other one probably, it has printed left and right indicators, but they are very weak, and usually you don't see the difference between left and right because there's nothing written on the earbuds themselves. They're transparent, so you can look into those earbuds here, what is inside, which is pretty awesome, I would say. Regarding the cable, it's also feeling a bit cheap, but I think it's a standard cable that they ship with their more cheaper devices. They have like a 2-split here. I don't know if you see it. It's like put together. There's no chin slider, so slide it up here. So just the divider here. It's okay. It doesn't tangle up so much as my, for example, Moonrub shoes that look like this. So they're tangled up a little bit. Those are the ones with the microphone, but the main issue is just on the Moonrub shoe, this like split that is round and it's very big. So that's a big issue. Otherwise, the cable is a bit nicer. This cable feels a bit nicer in the hand, but it's tangling up more, where this feels a lot cheaper, but doesn't have this problem with tangling up so much. So I have no issues with putting them like this, and they're holding up together. So even if they feel a bit cheaper, they are nicely made. So this cable is nicely made. Getting pretty loud as well. The separation of instruments is there as well. It's pretty good, especially as you have drivers for various different, you have 8 drivers, so the drivers are taking care of various different frequencies, which is nicely done. And you have then those various different frequencies, you can hear that there are different drivers working on it. Also, what I really like with them is that you don't have to put them so loud. Here on the shoes, sometimes I have to put them a little bit louder here, and those I don't have to. So I think they can be also listened to very easily, driven by smartphones or something like this. So no issues with this. I was checking them out with the Fire BTR5 that I have here as well to check out how good the quality is, and of course the smartphone, my Xperia Pro I and the 1 Mark IV and 5 Mark IV. In general, I like the sound. I have my cheat sheet somewhere here where I did a comparison with others. First of all, the general sound is V-shaped, definitely. So we have strong bass and we have strong highs. The mids, I thought, first of all, they are also forward, but this is like the vocals, the vocal mids, I would say they are forward, but this has something to do with the soundstage, because the soundstage is very narrow in my opinion. At least the vocals are very forward. They're in your ears directly. There's not like you are sitting somewhere and the sound is coming in from front, or you're sitting in a sound stage, the sound is coming around you. It's like the voice is sitting in your head directly and instruments coming from different directions. This you can definitely hear, but the sound stage is very narrow in my opinion. I had to compare them to something so you can, first of all, it's easier for me than to give you how the sound quality is, to tell you how the sound quality is, and I had to compare them with similar price devices. Like I said, similar price, this one here, the Chew is 30 euros, I think, or $30, and we didn't talk about the price yet, but these are $55 and the same roughly in euros as well, the AS16 Pro. And I also compared them with the older final E2000s that I have here that are currently still in the same price bracket as those, just to see what you can get here. It's an older pair, of course, but just to have those three candidates in a comparison. So like I said, very strong in bass here. Highs are also very strong. Mids are a bit weak, I think. It's typical V-shape. It's getting pretty loud as well. The soundstage is very narrow and the voices are forward, so directly into your head. The Chew do it a little bit better in my opinion. They have more emphasis on mids here. They have also a strong bass, but not as strong as those here. Those are really pushy, punchy bass, and those are definitely weaker bass. Bass is still there, but it's definitely weaker. But what the Chew have, and for 30 euros is very, very impressive, is more details, especially in highs and mid sound frequencies. They have way more details and a way wider soundstage, which is overall where I have to say these cost 30 euros, these cost 50 euros. If you would compare them 30 against 30 euros, then it would be fair, and I would say, okay, still those, it's a preferential kind of thing. You like the sound of this better or this better. But with this difference in price, it's very hard not to choose the Chew, because they're, even with the a little bit weaker bass and not so strong forward vocals, if you want strong forward vocals and really punchy bass, then get those here. Typical V-shape for workout or something. Could imagine this could work for a workout also with this very, very good ear hook here that is holding pretty nicely in your ear. You could use it for a workout or something like this. But otherwise, if you want to enjoy the sound, I think the Chew are the better choice here for the 30 euros. Then let's compare it to the 55, and up to now I saw 60 euros even, but I would just say also 50 euros, 55 euros. The final E2000, which are a little bit older, a lot older than those. But what is the difference here? The E2000 have a smaller drivers for sure, and they also are less loud, so they are a lot quieter. They are way warmer, less detailed than those here for sure. They have a wider soundstage than those, however. They are missing clarity. They are definitely missing clarity against those here. So against the AS16 Pro, where this offers, the Chew offers more clarity than the AS16 Pro. The final E2000 are less clear in this comparison completely. And they have a bit of slightly recessed mids, where even in comparison to the AS16 Pro, which are the better choice. So if you are in the price category of 50 euros right now, and you have also the final E2000s here in your on your wish list eventually, or the evaluation list, no, get the AS16 Pro if it is for the sound. But build quality here, at least from the earbud itself, the E2000s beat the plasticky AS16 Pro, and also lightweight, size-wise. It's just, you can put it in your ear, you can sleep with them without any issues. At one point I really forgot that I had them on, so lightweight. The only thing here, they have a very weak cable. It also doesn't tangle, which is good. It feels a bit more premium than this cable, I have to say, but this cable is more durable in my testing, and it was like, not so bad as the first look and feel might have suggested. Let's say it like this. This here is a bit of a weak point, and of course if you pull here too much you could rip then the earbuds out, so you have to be a little bit more careful with the final E2000s in this regard. Otherwise there's no real reason to get the final E2000s, only if you want to have a compact headphone and you're searching for the same region. But if you want a compact headphone and you want a strong build quality with cable that is very comparable to the final E2000s, then here we have the Chew, Moondrop Chew, and there's nothing compelling on the E2000s or the AS16 Pro that would convince me not buying the Chew for less money. So 30 euros only, Moondrop Chew. So the only thing I could imagine is if you really want this punchy strong bass, then eventually you could go to the AS16 Pro and the detachable cable where you can put another cable on. For example, mine were shipped without any microphone attachment if I want to use them for calling, but because I could imagine them using them on a smartphone. I could just replace them and put another cable on them that has a microphone built in, which might be also very, very handy. I cannot do this with the Chew. You have to buy the one with the microphone, otherwise, which is a bit more expensive, I think 40 euros then. Otherwise, you don't get it. Also, this cable cannot be really replaced, and it's a bit of a weak point that can go kaput in a few years of usage, or even months, depending on how much you use them. So in general, what can I say about the AS16 Pro? They have a cheaper build quality. They have lots and lots of drivers there. I think the sound quality is not bad, but I would wish them to be either in the same price category as the Chew. Then it would make sense. So 30 euros, $30 would make sense for those from the build quality and the sound quality. And they would dominate just because they have this removable cable. So there are also the Sonote Zeros now out, I think also for 30 euros somehow, that have a very similar sound stage and sound quality than the Chews. Might be even a little bit better, and they have a replaceable cable, also the same good build quality, not the same build quality, the shoes are better. They have, I think, plastic, but they have a metal framing there, so they're a little bit better than maybe these here. But yeah, I see them here in the 30 euros, $30 price region eventually. Maybe they have to come through the price and say, we only cost $20. Then that would be fantastic for those here. Otherwise, for $50, I don't know. There's like the bigger brother of the Moondrop Chew, the Aria, that have also a detachable cable and the same good build quality and sound quality is, I think, on par with the Chews, or slightly better even. So it makes it harder for me to recommend the AS16 Pro. But if you want to have your first BA only driver system or IEM headphone system just to check it out, how it sounds like, and you are just used to dynamic drivers, then this might be something. But it's really hard to recommend. Like I said, I like more small and compact ones, just like the Chews, like just put it in and show you for comparison. So this is how the Chew fits in here, very nicely flush to the ear. I can sleep with them without any issues. And here how big they and chunky they are. Granted, they have more drivers in there, but yeah, the sound quality is not like it's just like with megapixels on smartphone cameras or on digital cameras. The more megapixel does not mean you have a better picture, and the more drivers also does not mean you have automatically a better sound. It needs a bit sound tuning and so on. And here I think the clarity, if they would open up the clarity a little bit, make the sound stage a little bit wider, not in the face so much, then I would like it a bit better. But they are good. They are really good in comparison to older, like I said, final E2000s or something like this. So if you are upgrading, thinking about upgrading there, and you want something clunky that looks like something more expensive, then those are, for the looks, definitely better than the Chew, I think, which look a little bit weak and small. That's basically everything for this short little video. What I can recommend KZ to do is really bring the price down of those here and eventually work a little bit on the clarity and sound stage, and take maybe a note from the Chew, from the Sonote Zeros and so on, to work more on the highs and the details there if you can. And yeah, next time maybe those can then compete, the successes of those can then compete against the other ones or be on the same level also in terms of price region. What do you think about those IEMs? Do you have eventual KZs, and is the description of the soundstage and of the sound something similar? Are you comparing them? Do you have other IEMs that you are wearing, and do you like them for a particular need? For example, I could imagine them for workout when I'm doing sports, for example, because they have this forwardness. Also, I think for listening to podcasts, strangely enough, because the voice is so dominant forward, and if you're commuting or something like this and it's very loud, they don't have good passive noise isolation, but the active one would be even better. But with the forward voice, I think they might be also good for listening to podcasts or listening to audiobooks or something like this. So what do you think about this? This is my review, short review and unboxing of the KZ AS16 Pro. Until the next time, bye.